Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something real today. See, there's a mistake that a lot of women make. And it ain't your fault. You just love too deep. When a man walks away from a good woman, most people think that's the end of the story. Nah. That's just chapter 6 in a book he don't even understand he's in. Men often leave out of ego or confusion, not finality. That's something most women don't even realize until much later. And by then, you've already spent months or even years thinking you weren't enough. But the truth is, when a man walks away from a woman who truly loved him, it's rarely because he's made some wise, permanent, thought-out decision. Nah, it's usually pride. It's his ego. It's his confusion. It's that moment in life where he thinks he knows what he's doing, but deep down, he don't even know what he's feeling. Now, let me break this down for you. A lot of men grow up being told that emotions are a weakness. So instead of dealing with how deeply they care, they run, they pull back, they distract themselves. And sometimes they even convince themselves that leaving is some sort of strength, like walking away from a woman who had his back somehow proves something. But let me tell you something, it don't prove strength. It proves immaturity. It proves fear. It proves a man still hasn't figured out what peace feels like until he loses it. You see, when a man is with a woman who truly loves him, who supports him, forgives him, uplifts him, that love can feel too real, too vulnerable. And if he hasn't done his own healing, if he hasn't faced his own insecurities, he will sabotage that love every time. Not because he doesn't value it, but because he doesn't believe he deserves it. And rather than admit that, rather than face the reflection in the mirror, he leaves. But here's the thing, when a man walks away from a woman like that, deep down he knows he's not closing a door forever. He's just hoping that door is still cracked when he finally grows up enough to come back. That's the sad part. He leaves acting like he's done, but he's not done. He's uncertain, he's lost. And instead of sitting with those feelings and figuring himself out, he finds a distraction. Sometimes that distraction is silence. Sometimes it's work. Sometimes, it's another woman. But none of it is real healing. It's just avoidance. And that's why he comes back. Because once the silence gets too loud, once the new woman stops being a fantasy and starts being real life, he realizes he still misses you, your energy, your warmth, your faith in him. And by that time, he starts to remember who you were, not just as his woman, but as his anchor. Let me tell you a truth that men don't say out loud. They remember everything. Every laugh you gave, every time you stayed when you could have left, every word of encouragement when he was at his lowest. It sticks with them. They try to act like they've moved on. They try to pretend they're doing great. But when the ego fades, when life gets quiet, when they're sitting in their car lying in bed at night, that's when the confusion turns into clarity. But clarity don't come when he's with you. It comes when you're gone. That's the part that hurts the most. He couldn't see your value when you were there pouring your love into him every single day. But the moment you walk away, the moment you stop calling, stop texting, stop checking in, that's when he starts to panic. That's when he realizes this ain't about convenience. This was love. This was purpose. This was something his ego made him blind to. So don't think he left because it was over. Most of the time, He left because he didn't have the emotional tools to stay. And don't think his silence means he doesn't care. His silence might just be his shame, his regret, his pride swallowing him whole because he knows he walked away from something divine. A man doesn't leave a woman like you because he's certain. He leaves because he's confused, and sometimes confused men make the biggest mistakes of their lives. A man may realize her true value only in her absence. That's just how it works sometimes. You can give your all to a man, love him deeply, stay loyal, support his dreams, even when he can't see them himself. And still, he might walk away thinking the grass is greener somewhere else. But see, the thing about value is this: it doesn't always shine when it's right in front of you. Sometimes it takes distance. Sometimes it takes silence. Sometimes it takes the cold of being without you for him to feel just how warm you really were. Now, let me be real with you. Most men don't understand the kind of love they're getting until it's gone. While you were there, being soft, being consistent, being understanding, he thought it was normal. He thought he deserved it, even when he didn't always give it back. He got used to the way you held him down, the way you forgave him, the way you stayed up late trying to make things work. But the problem is, he didn't think you'd ever stop. He assumed that kind of love would always be waiting. So when you finally had enough, when you stepped back, stop checking on him, stop texting him good night, stop being available for his half-hearted efforts, it shook him. But at first, he might not even admit it. At first, he'll act like he's unbothered. He'll laugh, party, post pictures, maybe even start seeing someone new. But behind all that noise is a growing silence. That silence ain't about peace, it's about absence. It's the echo of you no longer being there. And that's where it starts to hit. Not in the moment you walk away, but in the weeks, the months after, when life don't feel the same. When nobody else matches your energy. When he realizes no one texts him the way you did, no one prays for him behind his back, no one listens to his ideas with the kind of faith that you had. That's when the regret creeps in. That's when he starts thinking back on all the things you did without asking for anything in return. That's when he starts seeing your worth, not because you reminded him, but because you removed it. Mm-hmm. You see, a woman like you is a blessing, not a backup plan. You're not something he can just circle back to when the world disappoints him. But men learn that the hard way. They think they're choosing freedom when they walk away, but what they really choose is emptiness disguised as options. They trade depth for distraction. And once the distraction fades, they left staring at what they lost. Let me tell you something. A woman's value becomes crystal clear the moment she disappears. When she stops explaining herself, when she stops proving her love, when she walks with her head high and chooses peace over pain, that's when a man realizes he has something sacred, something real, and he fumbled it. But here's the part that really messes him up. By the time he sees your value, you might not even be that same woman anymore. See, healing changes you. Growth changes you. That pain taught you lessons. You've grown into someone who now sees her own worth. You've learned how to protect your heart. You've discovered that peace is better than proving your loyalty to someone who didn't know what to do with it. And trust me, that growth, that glow, That's what brings him back. Not because he suddenly got it all together, but because he finally sees what was there all along. And now he's hoping it's not too late. But he's not coming back to the woman he left. He's coming back to a woman who found her power in his absence. Men don't miss the moment, they miss the meaning. They realize the true value of a woman, not when she's pouring into them every day, but when that cup is no longer there to drink from. And by then, they're not just thirsty, they're empty, because they finally see that what they walked away from wasn't just love. It was rare, it was real, it was you. Even if he chooses someone else, his heart might still belong to you. Now, I know that might sound crazy to some people, but let me break it down for you. A man can be in a relationship, smiling for pictures, going out on dates, showing the world he's moved on, but deep down, deep in the quiet places he don't talk about, he could still be carrying the memory of you. Because love, real love, it don't just disappear when a new face shows up. Sometimes it gets buried under distraction, under ego, under fear, but it don't die. I might have seen him move on fast. Might have looked like he didn't waste a second before getting with someone else. That can make you feel like what y'all had didn't mean anything. But don't be fooled by that surface level happiness. Some men get with someone else not because they're over you, but because they're trying to forget you. They're trying to outrun the feelings, trying to prove to themselves and maybe to you that they're just fine. But let me tell you something about the heart. It don't lie. A man can lay next to somebody else and still think about the way you used to laugh. He can go out to dinner and still remember the way you used to look at him when he talked about his dreams. He can hold somebody else's hand but feel the absence of your presence the entire time. You see, emotional connection ain't something you can just replace like a phone. It's deeper than that. And if he truly loved you, if you touch something real inside him, then no matter who he's with now, there's a part of him that still belongs to you. But here's where it gets real tricky. Some men don't even realize they're still holding on to you. They'll convince themselves they've moved on. They'll play the role, wear the smile, do everything right on the outside. But inside, they're still comparing, still measuring this new person by the standard you set without even trying. And when this new woman doesn't bring the same peace, doesn't make him feel as seen, as safe, as inspired, that's when it starts to unravel. He might not say it, he might not admit it, but he knows. He knows that what he had with you was different. Maybe he didn't appreciate it back then. Maybe he thought he had time. Or maybe he believed the connection he had with you could be found again with someone else. But now, standing in a new relationship, he's realizing it ain't the same. Because it can't be the same. You were one of one. Sometimes a man chooses someone else because that relationship feels easier, less pressure, less accountability. But easier doesn't mean better. Convenient doesn't mean fulfilling. And after a while, when the dust settles, he starts to feel the difference. That new person may be great, but they don't know his soul like you did. They don't understand his silence like you did. They don't believe in him the way you did. And slowly, his heart starts remembering and missing you. Now, just because he's with someone else doesn't mean he stopped loving you. Sometimes it means he's confused. Sometimes it means he took the easy road because facing the truth scared him. But that love he had for you, that don't vanish overnight. That don't disappear just because there's a new name in his phone. And when he starts to realize that the new connection doesn't fulfill him the way yours did, that's when it hits him. That's when regret starts to rise, because you weren't just a chapter in his story. You were the turning point, the one who made him feel something real, the one he should have held onto tighter. And even though he might be standing beside someone else now, there's a good chance his heart is still standing right next to you. Men return to peace, loyalty, and emotional safety, not drama. You hear people say all the time that a man will come back when he misses you, but let's be clear. It's not just about missing a face or a moment. A real man comes back when he realizes what he lost, and the thing that sticks with him the most is not always your beauty, your style, or even the memories. It's the peace you brought into his life. It was the way you made him feel when the world was heavy and he had nowhere to rest his head, not just physically, but emotionally. See, when a man walks out on a woman who gave him peace, it doesn't hit him right away. At first, he might think he's chasing freedom, fun, or some new kind of thrill. He might even get caught up with somebody else who's exciting, unpredictable, wild, whatever it is that looks shiny on the surface. But over time, that thrill fades. Because when the excitement goes away, what's left? What's left is chaos, drama, confusion. And that's when the comparison starts. And that's when he starts remembering how you never made him feel like he had to earn love every day, how you loved him with grace, you corrected him with kindness, you believed in him even when he doubted himself, you gave him that space to be vulnerable without judgment. And let me tell you something, a man might not say it out loud, but that kind of emotional safety is rare, and when he loses it, he notices. He notices it when he's sitting across from someone who doesn't know how to listen. He notices it when he brings up a problem and gets attitude instead of support. He notices it when he's out in the world surrounded by noise and he realizes the only place he ever felt quiet and calm was you. See, peace ain't loud, it ain't flashy. It's that steady, calming, grounded love that makes a man feel like he's not alone in this fight called life. And loyalty, oh, don't get me started on that. Real loyalty is more than just not cheating. It's standing by someone when they're at their worst. It's praying for a man who doesn't even know how to pray for himself. It's defending him when he's not in the room. It's making sure he knows he's loved even when he don't love himself. And if you gave that to a man, if you gave him peace and loyalty and he left, I promise you, he gonna feel that loss in ways he can't explain. You don't realize how safe you felt with someone until you're with somebody who makes you feel exposed. And that's what starts happening to him. All the little things he took for granted start playing in his mind. How you used to check on him without needing a reason. How your voice could calm him down better than any drink, any party, any escape. How your energy made his chaos make sense. That's what brings a man back. That's what his heart remembers, even if his pride tries to forget. Men don't return to noise. They don't return to pain. They don't come back to someone who made their life harder. They come back to where they found rest. They come back to the one who spoke life into them when they were drowning in doubt. And when that realization hits, and trust me, it always does, it doesn't matter how far he's gone, how long it's been, or even who he's with, a man will always find his way back to peace. Because peace is unforgettable, emotional safety is irreplaceable, and loyalty, That's eternal when it's real.